history will soon be written in Chicago at the Democratic National Convention. KBLA Talk 1580 will be the only talk station in LA with 5 shows broadcasting live from the DNC in Chicago, August 19th through the 23rd. Dominique DePrima, Nicolai Corte, Ariva Martin, Adrian Shropshire, and Tavis Smiley will all be in Chicago bringing the convention to you like no other talk station in Southern California for the critical issues and conversations that matter most to you. Keep it locked to KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got Kamala covered.
Hey Zoe, I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes 2 to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
So one of the things that I've been studying and thinking about is high achievement in among people in general, and this is also something that I don't think is given any serious consideration in our discussion of the differences between the sexes. So, the number of people who are extremely high achieving in any field is very low, right? And that depends on the Pareto principle essentially, and that works itself out mathematically so that the square root of the number of people in a domain do half the work. So if you have 100 scientists working in a particular subfield, then 10 of them will publish half the articles. And if you look at that tiny percentage of people who are hyperproductive, they're almost all men.
Yeah.
And so like in universities, the median number of publications for men and women is very close. But the high publishers are all men. And the reason for that is because in order to be in that category, not only do you have to be extraordinarily smart and extraordinarily conscientious, but associated with that conscientiousness, you have to be able to devote something like 60 to 80 hours a week of solid attention to your job, because otherwise people will outcompete you, right? So it's these extremely focused and narrow people who are
obsessive.
That's exactly right. They're absolutely obsessed with what they're doing, and they're quite rare, and that they're also the mystery that needs to be solved, because the fact that most people want to have a balanced life and that most people aren't absolutely obsessed with a single issue to the exclusion of all else is actually normative behavior and quite understandable.
That's right.
You get this extreme personality, let's say, and it's certainly not something I'm criticizing, but it's not the common lot. And I do believe that it's a far more difficult thing for women to manage, because once you're responsible for someone else, like you are primarily responsible for small children, then it's extraordinarily difficult to concentrate like that to the exclusion of all else. And, I've seen a couple of women that I've had professional relationships with. I've usually worked in the capacity of something like an executive coach in my clinical practice, who've kind of managed that, but they're so stretched. They're concerned with the number of seconds that they have to microwave their food. They're hyper organized, and even then it's very difficult for them to manage because they're juggling 4 or 5 impossible things at the same time, and often also guilt-ridden because they feel that they're not paying enough attention to their children. And generally they are, and they make very good role models, but it's a hell of a thing to expect of someone who also has a maternal role.
I hear, Jordan Peterson, I hear you. You're basically saying that men are smarter because we're obsessive and hyper-focused, and I think there was an illusion there that, because women nurture, he brought up the children, because women nurture, they just don't have the capacity to be as narrowly focused as men. I think that's what he was trying to get to. This is an interesting piece here, because I've been hearing this for many years. And a lot of brothers, they get scraped by women that they perceive to be smarter than them. Tonight's topic, navigating the fine line between intelligence and arrogance in relationship. Right? Exploring the impact of education on perceptions of women. When women get super educated, do they become super condescending? There's a lot of men running around basically saying that the more educated, the more successful, right? The higher up the corporate ladder they go, the more condescending they become. I, for one, do not believe this to be true. I believe there are some women like that 100%. But do I believe all women are like that? No. Just as I don't believe that all men are intimidated by a woman's success or her education level. And for good measure, just because you're highly educated does not mean you are highly intelligent. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm going to put that out early. Why does a relationship with a more highly educated woman seem to intimidate some men? Men, I want you to be honest. Do you want to be able to have every single answer for your woman? I'm just asking. Is that part of your manhood? Do you feel like if you can't answer every one of her questions, that you are somehow less than a man? Or even worse, another man might show up and answer the question for you, which makes you less attractive. Do most men show less attraction towards intelligent women? Yeah, I found some research that said, most men are less attractive to intelligent women. Why is that? I'm really interested to know what you guys think tonight. True or false? Yeah, this is going to be hard. Knowledge puffeth up. 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 1. Becoming more knowledgeable or intellectual in a certain discipline can result in a higher likelihood of arrogance and ego. Is the same true for the highly educated woman? Because I hear smart men getting called arrogant all the time. I've been called arrogant. You think you know everything. No. You just want somebody to agree. No. You got to answer for everything. No, I do not. I would like to have a conversation with someone who is not going to take offense. I mean, I think insecure people do not like intelligent people, right? Insecure about themselves, insecure about their self-image, their sense of self, and even insecure about their level of education, right? And when you're around somebody that you know, oh wow, this person is smarter than me. You know, typically for the average person who's wearing the Carl Jungen mask, they want to puff themselves up to look like. Have you ever been in a conversation with somebody, you say something deep and they got to re-say what you said, but only in their language, in their parlance? And then it becomes this competition of, he said something profound, so I got to say something profound. It happens a lot on podcasts, right? And it happens a lot in relationships. This is how you know you're dealing with an intellectually insecure person, because they can't bask in the profundity of what you said. They have to go mind their mind for an equally profound statement. And this is happening in relationships. And this is what I don't like. Arrogance, ego, a lot of people are afraid to attribute some of these terms to women. Yes, women can be exceedingly arrogant and condescending. I want to know, have you ever been with a woman who kind of threw her academic weight around? Well, you wouldn't know anything about that because, you know, you only have your bachelor's. I, however, am Dr. Christine. You know, I want to know, have you ever been bullied by your woman's intelligence? And was she doing the bullying, or was it your insecurities that were doing the bullying? Are disagreeable traits found more frequently in women that are highly educated? If so, why might this be? And how does this affect their desirability in heterosexual dating and relationships? Do men with higher levels of education face more scrutiny in regard to their behavior and or demeanor in relationship? Very interesting question. Are some men intimidated by the education / intellectual prowess of a woman? Now, I've been told on numerous occasions, Zoe, you hard-headed. You don't listen. Right? Now, let me just say, there are some people out there, according to Dr. Peterson, he was like, only 10% of the super smart are actually doing all the work. Right? So you might have somebody with a high major degree, but that doesn't mean they are contextually intelligent. They might be intelligent within their major, within their field, but outside of their field, they could be a lot like Ben Carson. We all know how Ben Carson looked when he ran for president. Yes, he's one of the greatest neurosurgeons ever. He was Dr. Strange with the neurosurgery. But in politics, it was like Magic running the Lakers. It wasn't good. I'm sorry. I digress. I'm just saying. So you could have a highly intelligent man or female in a relationship, but they may only be intelligent in a certain field. And I'm just so interested. Men, you got to call in tonight. Because I want to know, have you been bullied by the plaques on your woman's wall? Have they made you feel small? I want to know. When we come forward, the voice of reason shall continue this cook-up.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580. Tavis is like George and Wheezy. He's moving on up. Last year, Tavis was number 45 on the Talkers magazine list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. Wait for it. Wait for it. The 2024 list was recently released, and Tavis has jumped to number 33 on the list of the nation's most important talkers, making him the highest-ranked African-American on the coveted roster. Congratulations to Tavis Smiley from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580. We've got you black.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles is a nonprofit law firm that protects and advances the rights of the most underserved, leveling the playing field and ensuring that everyone can have access to the justice system. Every year, LAFLA provides free, high-quality legal services to more than 100,000 people living in poverty across greater Los Angeles. Their unique combination of neighborhood offices, self-help centers at courthouses, and domestic violence clinics puts Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles on the front lines in vulnerable communities and at the forefront of change. LAFLA's expert team of attorneys, paralegals, and support staff works to provide direct representation, offer counsel and advice, provide referrals, and educate the community about their legal rights through workshops and seminars. With locations all over LA, you can access their services or volunteer to help no matter where you live. And if you have an urgent issue, call 213-235-0060. That's 213-235-0060. To get legal help, make a donation, or volunteer, visit lafla.org. lafla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
And you know what? I didn't take dating very seriously. I dated in med school. I dated people in med school. I didn't take it very seriously. In my 30s, I still was that way through half of my 30s. But what happened was around the time I started freezing my eggs, my latter part of my 30s, I actually started panicking about the fact that I wasn't married. And I remember specifically talking to my mom being like, why didn't I take this seriously? Why didn't I make better decisions? And I started thinking back to all the guys I dated being like, oh, should I go back? Maybe he was one. Why didn't I, and I tortured myself. I crucified myself because I said, how could you not have taken this seriously? What did you do? You let all this time pass and now you're almost 40 and what the flip? How did we get here? Because all of a sudden I was approaching 40 and my parents were like, you need to freeze your eggs. I was like, ah. And I was really hard on myself during that time. I really, really was hard on myself. I was remorseful. I was regretful. I was embarrassed. And I felt like I had wasted a lot of time. And then in my 40s, which I am, I'm proud to say that things have gotten a little bit better for me, meaning how much or little rather I beat myself up. The reason why I haven't gotten married is honestly because I haven't found him yet. I just, and you know what? It was one day that it literally took me waking up one morning where I had blamed myself and said, well, maybe you are too picky. Well, maybe you are crazy. And maybe you didn't take this seriously. And why didn't you do this? And why weren't you this? And I can't believe you did this. And how'd you let 15 years go by without thinking about this?
Very interesting. A lot of women have that perspective. How do societal norms and cultural expectations influence the way we perceive and value intelligence in women versus men? Do we somehow think women are not as smart as us? Because I hear a lot of men saying, what? You need direction. If you can't follow, I heard brothers say this. Brothers have said this. If you can't follow direction, you don't deserve protection. I've heard this. I've heard brothers say this. Now, not all brothers. That is not the sentiment of all brothers. But I've heard a faction of brothers say, hey, you don't follow direction, you don't deserve protection. Interesting stuff. There's people in the chat commenting on it now. How can individuals challenge and redefine these norms to create more inclusive and equitable relationships based on mutual respect and appreciation for each other's differences? Right? What role does emotional intelligence play in bridging the gap between intellectual disparities in relationship? How can emotional awareness, empathy, and vulnerability serve as a powerful tool for building intimacy, trust, and connection with a highly intelligent partner? In what ways can the cultivation of self-love, self-acceptance, and self-confidence empower individuals to embrace their own unique gifts and talents without feeling threatened or diminished by the intelligence of others? Listen, it's not just intelligence, right? It's not. It's money, it's success, it's resources. Oftentimes we're jealous of a lot of things. I'm not going to call this couple out, but I've seen a couple that was jealous, or one person in the relationship was jealous that their career was nosediving and their partner's career was taking off. They were jealous about it. They were envious. They were covetous. It's not just intelligence. It might also be opportunity. I think we compete and compare ourselves against our partners a lot. And I think our insecurities manifest in this space. How can men and women co-create a relationship dynamic that honors and respects each other's unique strengths, gifts, and contributions, regardless of the educational background or intellectual prowess? What are some practices, maybe some practical strategies for fostering mutual growth, empowerment, and harmony in relationships characterized by intellectual diversity? Yeesh. Very interesting stuff. This is going to be big. We've got somebody on the line that wants to talk about it. My brother, John from Mountain View, Hawaii. Talk to me. What are your thoughts?
Oh boy. I'm not sure if this conversation is going to have us all in the hospital or calling each other by shaking a fist. But at the same time, let me go to the lowest portion of this and work my way up from there.
Okay.
When men are in their feelings, they destroy the world by their head.
Oh, we'll keep going.
When women destroy the world, they speak. And it's not to the point that we're here to destroy the world. It's just a part of the chaos that we have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And most of that's got something to do with learning self.
Mm-hmm.
So as we know, this day and age currently, this is the least the world has actually seen crime, especially in the black community, by men.
Really?
But guess who's on the judgment side of that call?
Who?
If you was in the city of Atlanta, or better yet, our current vice president-elect, currently, or the one being selected, did she or did she not keep people in jail? And you could test this by your own might, Mr. Zoe, because it happened in San Francisco, right?
Bay Area,
Whereas
yeah.
then as a guy who was supposed to be tested for DNA and his life was on the line, and she was like, nah, I don't know.
Oof.
One of her talking points in the conversation as she becomes what she wants to be, the president, she says, I have mightier information in the pen stroke that I have.
Oh, yeah. She was like, it's a lot of power.
You and your misdemeanor?
Yeah, she said, yeah. Uh-oh.
I don't think it's
wait a minute. I think you getting deep. Hold tight. We got to go back to Hawaii. It's about to get fish fried deep up in here when we come forward. More from John, Mountain View, Hawaii.
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Former President Trump is claiming the Harris campaign used artificial intelligence to create images of large crowds at her swing state rallies. In a post over the weekend on his Truth Social platform, Trump shared an image from Vice President Harris's rally at a Michigan airport saying, quote, "Look, we caught her with a fake crowd. There was nobody there," end quote. In another post, Trump said Harris should be disqualified because the creation of a fake image is election interference. The Harris campaign responded on Truth Social by posting a video of Harris arriving at the Detroit airport showing a large crowd of an estimated 15,000 people greeting the vice president and her running mate Tim Walz. J.D. Vance is defending former President Trump's comments questioning Kamala Harris's racial identity. In an interview with CNN State of the Union, Trump's running mate accused Harris of being a chameleon. The Ohio senator said the vice president is fundamentally a fake person, claiming she's overly scripted and refuses to take questions from the media. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
During their back-to-school event, learn how Dell Technologies is helping underserved communities around the world. Make a difference with Dell and shop AI-ready PCs powered by Snapdragon X Series processors at Dell.com/deals.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader. If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Helping to broaden your political and moral imagination with our 2024 Climate Justice Campaign. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Looks like Bobby needs a ride again.
Grab the keys. Let's take
Auntie, to the swap meet. Grab the keys.
Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, do it all in a Chevy SUV. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Malibu, Colorado, Blazer, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Traverse limited models. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $2,860 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 15.8% must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/1/24.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580 invites you to join us for a book party celebrating The Covenant with Black America 20 years later. Almost 2 decades ago, the Covenant book, compiled and edited by Tavis Smiley, climbed to #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list and stayed there for weeks. The first book by a black-owned publisher to achieve such a feat. The urgency of the issues that matter most to black fellow citizens has only intensified, especially in this critical election year. On Wednesday evening, August 14th, 6 to 9 p.m., come meet Tavis Smiley alongside Covenant contributors including Cornel West, Connie Rice, Mark Ridley Thomas, Elisa Orduna, Tyrone Howard, and Melina Abdullah as they sign copies of The Covenant with Black America 20 years later. You can purchase your books on site and get them autographed. That's Wednesday evening, August 14th, 6 to 9 p.m. in the city of Los Angeles. Admission is free, but you must register at KBLA1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Phil Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hold on. Why y'all beating us? That name. Do y'all want to learn a new dance? Are you qualified to learn one? That's what I thought. Who can dance out there? Okay, we're going to try a new dance. And if I see everybody doing it, I don't want to see you no more. Jelly Bean, are we ready? Y'all better do this one. What time is that? All right, y'all got 10 seconds to get to the dance floor.
right. And I say this with love, all right? So, an issue that a lot of successful women have is thinking that their accomplishments and success is intimidating the men. And there are some men who exist who are intimidated. However, it's not your success, it's your energy. It's the attitude that comes with that. And the reality is that for a successful woman, many have bought into the idea that you have to hold on to masculine energy in the workplace to get ahead, to be respected. But
Pause
you
it,
don't
pause
know how
it.
to.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Who did you say, Andy? Because as a man, I hear certain names floating around. Who did you say?
Amanda Seals.
I've heard Amanda Seals. I've heard Ebony K.
That was the second one I was going to mention.
But I mean, how else are they supposed to act in this society? Do you understand? Like I always say to the brothers, you mad at how the sisters are behaving, but you didn't direct them. You didn't raise them. You act like a version of them, just the male version. Yeah. Who is Puffy emulating? Weinsteins and hey, can we keep it real? Like, if they are, listen, I say this all the time. You can agree or disagree. It's not about you agreeing or disagreeing. Krishnamurti, it is no measure of health to be fully integrated into a sick society. So sisters have integrated into the society. There's no way you can't integrate, right? If you're moving up the ladder in all of these power spaces, of course they're going to be affected. So why you want them to? I heard somebody say, I want my woman to be a nurturing provider. What? Yeah, like, hey, huh? So you get mad at the sisters, right? Because they're demonstrating a certain way. But what have you done to cultivate your divine masculinity? Go ahead, Andy. I see Andy got Andy over there. He ready.
I'm trying to figure out like what angle I should come at this, but I think, to piggyback on, what Stefan Speaks said, the attitude or whatnot. I think there are some, but not all. There are some women who, they get their education level's pretty high. They probably have a high paying job, right? And I think they take, like I said, some, but not all. They take solace sometimes in like sunning men, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. But do you agree with this? Because this is good right here. Do you agree with this? And we're going to get John back in here because I know he got something for us. But do you agree with this? I think a lot of men have spent so much time trying to conquer the world that they've ignored the inner work. And in ignoring the inner work, they think they can gain control over the woman via the bread.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So what happens is you ain't done no inner work. You done got the bread. And now you want her to behave a certain way. And if she's educated, that education is going to irritate your lack of it.
I guess that's where we want things to be traditional.
That's when we like, hey, bend the knee. You know what this is. And she don't want to bend the knee. This generation don't want to bend the knee unless there's some type of spiritual healing. Now, I will say this, and then I'm going to go back to John. Peep game on this, though. You got educated women who have done the same thing that men have done. They're starting to go our way, which is, I'm going to chase the world, and I'm going to try to get as much as I can get. And then they kind of put aside their internal healing. But now the responsibility is an expectation for the dude to carry. I got to live. Do you understand what I'm saying? I got to live a certain kind of way. I need to be soft. You need to make me, I can't make you soft. And I'm going to tell brothers right now, run. When they show up, talk about you got to bring the softness so I can be, run. You're not a healed woman. You're not a whole woman. If you don't master your feminine kung fu, don't ask me to be your Sifu. Nah, run. Get up out of there. Because it's going to be problematic, I promise you. All right, we got callers on the line. Let's get back to John. John, what's happening, man? What are your thoughts? Where John at? John? Come on, Mountain View. Come on, we got John. Where did John go? We done lost John. John, you got to call back. John done went down to the corner store. We going to get John back. Reggie, Austin, Texas, get in here.
Man, it is clear that a lot of men hate women.
Keep going. Come on.
And they try to hide their hatred in traditionalism and in cultural mores and all of that. And they're just they're saying everything but I hate you in the way that they communicate. And I mean, just some of the clips that I've heard, maybe not on this show tonight, but just in conversation, I'm like, man, you just cannot stand this person. It's like if you've ever seen Draymond Green analyze Rudy Gobert's basketball game.
Yes,
like he can't stand Rudy Gobert. He can't stand it, but he'll never say I can't stand this guy. But like if you read between the lines, you could hear, and this man hates this other dude. It's just like that.
Right.
It's just, and I mean, intelligence isn't about reading the lines. Intelligence is about reading between the lines.
But this is a big point you're making. This is why I sometimes have to tell the sisters, just because he vehemently disagrees with you, it doesn't mean he doesn't like you. I think sometimes you'll get a particular type of woman who hasn't been heard, hasn't been made to feel heard, hasn't been made to feel seen, and if you disagree with her, you automatically get labeled as somebody who doesn't listen, or you trigger her in that way. You understand what I'm saying? And oftentimes, men are not savvy enough to recognize, like, this ain't even about me. This is going back to childhood in some cases.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. And you have an argument, an old argument with someone else. And it's just a continuation of an old argument that doesn't have anything to do with you necessarily. As far as this conversation is concerned, if you're intelligent, I mean truly intelligent, you can take hearing another viewpoint, and it doesn't knock anything that you believe or anything that you seek to be true. I mean, you can hold competing views simultaneously. That's what an intelligent person does.
But you know what's crazy? I think sometimes sisters marginalize their own intelligence because in a lot of ways they want what either they had or didn't have. Meaning, if they had a father who was dominant, that was telling them what to do and giving them direction, they may seek that in a man and then in turn make themselves smaller in order to take direction. You have some men who are, yes, I'll listen to what you have to say, but I got to have the final say. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
And if a man doesn't take the final say or actually says, you know what, this is what we doing, she may devalue him by saying, oh, well, he didn't take the initiative, so, I'm kind of rudderless here. I'm directionless. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I can see it from both ways. Honestly, this man or some men have never been right. Like, have never been just, your word goes. Like, they've never been in charge of anything. They've never been, given the responsibility of of having this family and you know, everyone who's under this roof does what I say. And because they've never had that authority, they have to flex it on somebody. And she just bears the brunt of that until she has the ability to get her own stuff, and she'll throw that in his face every time she gets, because it's just like a war between the two people. I mean, it really goes to compatibility. The bottom line, if I have to flex my authority all the time, then I'm not compatible with you. You know, that's just real.
Yeah.
The last thing, man, as far as this whole thing is concerned, I think you have to be able to hold competing views simultaneously. And if you can't, then that says that you have some work to do. Be it male or female, you have some work to do. And that's it, bro.
100%. I agree. Reggie in the building. What did you just do?
That's Brett Austin in the building.
Austin, Texas is in the building. If you want to bring your city, all you got to, yes, the phone lines are definitely on fire. But Ronan, we looking for you to jump in. The number to dial, 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, we going back to Hawaii. We got Houston, Texas, and hopefully Indianapolis.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Have you heard of the 50-30-20 rule? This can help you spend and save your money wisely. So, how does it work? Distribute your dollars into 3 buckets. 50% towards needs, 30% towards your wants, and 20% goes to savings. Use this tool to help your journey to financial success. Sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase & Company.
Many homeowners and businesses use man-made stone as an alternative to traditional stone for their countertops. Handling these products puts workers' lives at risk. Without proper conditions, workers could die from the terminal lung disease silicosis. Employers must supply respiratory protection and water systems. It's essential to wet stone when cutting it to prevent breathing in dust. Do away with dusty, deadly practices. Visit WorkSafeWithSilica.org. This is a message from Cal OSHA.
With reported hate crimes rising in recent years, California has responded through outreach efforts across state government and in collaboration with community-based organizations for the launch of CA versus Hate. This non-emergency, multilingual hate crime and incident reporting hotline provides an anonymous reporting option for victims and witnesses of hate acts reported in 15 different languages through the online portal and in over 200 languages when calling the hotline. Report anonymously by calling 833-866-4283. Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. or online at any time at cavshate.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chuchas opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chuchas Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
That's 'cause you're so fine. 777-9311. I wanna spend the night with you if that's alright.
My wife, Isabel, is very intelligent, certainly academically, and in most other ways too. She studied classics at Oxford, got in a year early despite struggling with her English as she's French. She's competed in national French literature and ancient Greek competitions, achieved a 19 out of 20 in her maths baccalaureate when it was exceptionally rare to do so. One of her close friends got an 18 out of 20 and then ended up doing a master's in physics at Cambridge. Isabel's dad was one of France's leading maths professors. Her mum has 5 degrees. But here's the thing. The only thing I found unattractive about Isabel when I first met her was that she was more intelligent than me. And I didn't tell her or anyone at the time that I felt this way. Men are intimidated by highly intelligent women, and we don't like to admit it. According to a 2015 academic study called Distance Makes the Heart Grow Fonder, men showed less attraction towards women who outsmarted them. Isabel was the only girl I'd gotten to know fairly well that didn't seem to admire my intelligence. I'd like to have had a bit of subliminal intellectual admiration from my life partner, be that knight in shining armor. So when I'd say we're going on holiday to Japan, she'd respond, "Oh, darling, what a wonderful, intelligent choice you've made. You're so wise." But Isabel was not going to give me any of that. It was Isabel's stepfather, an ex-Oxford Don, who once essentially described Isabel's mother in glowing terms with a heavy emphasis on her intelligence, which induced in me a paradigm shift. I began to think for the first time that perhaps I was seeing this the wrong way. Perhaps Isabel's intelligence could actually, possibly, be a positive. Now, a few years later, we were married, and I've really come to...
That's wild. I want a super genius woman. I don't want a woman just in the background. Super genius. Make it make sense. I don't understand. A lot of men, I guess, don't like that. John, Mountain View, Hawaii, get in here, man, and finish it up, man. We lost you, but we got you back. What are your thoughts?
My AT&T phone acting like it's on Boost Mobile time. My bad.
It's all
But
good.
anyway, my bad. But again, if I was intimidated by the intelligence of a woman, why would I lean on grandma so much? And why would I still want to see grandma in the light of women today?
I like that.
Again, I remember being at home with mom and taking instructions from mom, which was one thing, but mama had a grandma,
right?
As in her mama,
right?
And that woman had to been the epitome of what we know today as womanhood. And for most of us, we ain't got grandmothers because most of our grandmothers got tattoos and is shaking their booty somewhere. But
right.
But at the same time, let the ebbs and tides flow. Again, the sun, the moon, the stars, and everything still rises and sets, and it's a beautiful thing, just like women. But just like women, we don't know when those ebbs, tides, flows, and all that is going to take control of us like a wave crashing over our heads during a hurricane, or when the sun gets a little bit too close to the earth and it burns us.
Okay, so if it's not their intelligence, what is it that we dislike or we find distasteful when we're dealing with highly educated women?
It's the ebbs and flows of who they are. They're still women.
So the ephemeral nature of women, the hot and cold, I got an attitude because they left the pickles off my sandwich. You talking about that? What are you talking about?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Again, do you control a woman at any of her levels at all?
None
Period.
of them. No, you don't.
Thank you. So why are we as men trying to be intimidated by something we can't control? It's called chaos for a reason, sir.
Yeah.
Find a direction, put it in its direction, and let it go.
Come on, John. I love it. Hey, John, guess what you just did, brother?
With my Boost mobile phone, I have finally brought Mountain View in the house.
Yes, sir. Mountain View, Hawaii, aloha. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. Uh-oh. It looks like the sisters are responding. Uh-oh. It looks like the sisters are on the line, and the sisters got something to say because I believe they have an entirely different take on this subject, right? The discomfort some men feel around intelligent women may also be rooted in societal conditioning that equates male dominance with intellectual superiority. Yeesh. Is that true? 1-800-920-1580. I want to know. Listen, when I come forward for hour number 2, we're going to get the sisters' take on this. And all I got to say is, brothers, buckle up.
Down alone.